What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C4, and today we're doing a requested video. I wasn't originally going to do it. I was kind of hoping some people would request it, and it seemed like in my highly controversial final player grade video with the Eagles and Cowboys, people were like, hey, you're going to do the wild card, you're going to do the playoffs. And like before, back in the day, they didn't do very well, even back, in relative to how big my channel was. Where I did player predictions, or not player predictions, but I did game predictions every week. And just I did player predictions, I did game predictions in the NFL, I did college predictions, but I don't really watch those. Maybe next year, where hopefully I'll be a little bit bigger of a channel. Like, regardless of what I put up, you guys will watch it. And it's not so much just like, hey, you guys gotta watch this, I need the views. But I like the conversations, the comments and stuff like that doesn't really affect, the popularity of it. Doesn't make me any more money. But I personally, like I said, at the end of the day, I'm a fan. And I like seeing, like, for example, when I made that highly provocative, I guess according to some people, highly provocative Eagles and Cowboys video, the stats stayed about the same, but the comments exploded. And that's what I want to see. Regardless of what the response is, I like seeing a football conversation happening on my videos. And like I said, maybe next year we might be able to do something like that. But today, I will be doing the playoffs and doing this kind of as a test run. Playoffs should be, it's a little bit more condensed. There's less games I need to do, a tighter scope, if you will. So yeah, I'm going to be predicting all the wildcard games, and then next week we'll do the playoff games, the divisional round, so on and so forth, all the way up to the Super Bowl. So we're going to start with Saturday's wildcard games. We're going to jump right in. The first one, the early game, is Oakland versus Houston. And this could have been a great game. Everyone knows that, my team in the AFC, I enjoy watching in the AFC. They're not my team. I don't support them, but I enjoy watching them. The Raiders and the Steelers are usually the two teams that I enjoy to watch the most. Actually, I'll probably throw Miami in there just because my buddy's a diehard Miami fan, and my brother, Darrow's Arrows, is a Patriots fan. So whatever team is the most competitive in the AFC East is usually a team I kind of try to root for. But anyway, we're talking for this game, the Raiders versus Houston. This sucks, man. Fuck the Patriots. The Raiders, Patriots didn't do a damn thing, but the fact that, there's no more Derek Carr on the Oakland Raiders, I firmly believe that both the teams I like, the Raiders and the Steelers, fully healthy, were the only two teams that could compete with the Patriots this year in the AFC to make and represent the Super Bowl from that side of the football world. Now with the Raiders, I think the quarter's going to be eaten alive. Houston Texans, their offense, you can say what you want to say about Brock Lobster, and probably looks like it will be him playing. I know Tom Savage picked up a concussion, and how that offense looks, but I mean, that defense has still been elite. Even without J.J. Watt, the Texas defense is still, I don't even know what they are statistically. They might still be like a top 5 defense statistically. And, seeing what I watched that game against Denver, and, the Denver Broncos defense is fairly similar to the Houston Texans defense, the way they're built. And, Cook and McGloin got hurt. I don't know who they're going to be rolling with, but be it Cook or McGloin. Both those guys did not have very much success against the Broncos defense. And you can just see the chemistry was not there. There was a couple times that there could have been deep balls completed to Amari Cooper or Michael Crabtree, and the chemistry wasn't there yet. And I don't know if you can really develop that kind of chemistry through a week of practice. I just think it's going to be too little too late for the Oakland Raiders, unfortunately, because with Derek Carr, that is a Super Bowl caliber team, I think. Without him, I mean, you're going to just see why it's so tough for teams without a quarterback to win. And that's what the rest of the story of Houston, Texas last year when they went to the playoffs. Fully healthy defense, great defense, solid-ish run game. You had DeAndre Hopkins being incredible, but you just didn't have a quarterback. You had Brian Hoyer. And it's at least it's reverse roles a little bit, even though the Texans still don't really have a quarterback. I just think that be it Cook or McGloin, they're going to get eaten alive by not only, I think the offensive line is really good on Oakland, but I just think that secondary, especially because A.J. Boye will be returning. He missed a couple games, I think, for Houston. He will be back for the playoffs, as well as Lamar Miller, which is a big getter for that offense. So they can get Tom Savage, who I actually thought, go way back in my videos and see, what was that, the 2013 draft class? Might have been the first draft class I actually started trying to truly analyze. I said Tom Savage is my sleeper quarterback of that draft class coming out of Pitt. I think you give Tom Savage, Lamar Miller, a great weapon out of the backfield. That offense might be doable. I mean, you got Hopkins, you got Will Fuller. I don't know if Braxton Miller's still playing, but Fedor Woods has emerged as a really solid tight end. You got Lamar Miller to add some balance to that offense. That could be a team that could surprise a couple teams because how strong their defense is. Those are big gainers for them. But having Boye back there, that is going to be a full-strength Houston Texans secondary going up against, lack of chemistry, not very experienced quarterback, whoever the Raiders decide to go with. For Oakland really to win, they're going to need Connor Cook. I think Connor Cook is the option between him and Matt McGloin. They need him to start, and he needs to start connecting on the deep balls because they were there. You don't lose the talent on the outside regardless of the quarterback, and Connor Cook has a decent-sized arm, definitely a big enough arm to fully connect on deep balls to Crabtree, to Cooper, even nice little checkdowns. He can do checkdowns too to Jalen Richard out of the backfield or something like that. A little shifty player that can make a lot of people miss, but I just think it's going to be too much, unfortunately. I'll be happy. I'm pulling for the Raiders to win this game, but I think the Texans are going to win, so I think this will be an awful game. This is going to be a game where two defenses nullify. It's going to be a good battle between the trenches, between the Texans' defensive line and the Raiders' offensive line, but I don't see any way that the Raiders are going to be able to win this one. Because unless, somehow the Texans secondary throws up a big fucking goose egg and literally plays horrible, it sucks, man. The Raiders are next year. All right, next year. Derek Carr will come back healthy, and the Raiders are going to be a really legit contender next year. The only problem with that is they did sign a lot of old free agents. So, hopefully Father Time doesn't hit them until the 2018-2019 season. But the Texans are going to win this game. And then the night game on Saturday is the Detroit Lions going to Seattle. So Seattle at home has an advantage, but they're really limping into the playoffs. They barely beat San Francisco 49ers. It wasn't a whole lot to play, but you find the balance. So that's what the Cowboys did against the Eagles. They still played much of their starters for the first half, and because you want to keep the momentum. You don't want to stutter your momentum by sitting all your players. Something that maybe the Pittsburgh Steelers, a team that rested all their big superstars on offense, may be facing potentially. Some teams handle it differently. I think the Steelers will be fine. Their experience, but a team like Seattle, I'm not exactly sure if they rested a bunch of people. It looked like they played most of their guys, and they barely scraped past the fucking head coach list, pretty much. San Francisco 49ers. Russell Wilson could be a fucking MVP candidate for surviving behind that horrible offensive line. As much as Pro Football Focus is, something that a lot of people snark at because it's like nerd stuff, and I personally don't like to put a lot of weight into it, but they do great offensive linemen. I don't know how they do it, but literally everyone, almost the worst starting player at every position in the offensive line is on the Seattle Seahawks. You could see it by their inability to run the ball. I don't know what happened. Who'd they lose from last year to this year? Last year, they could still run the ball with Marshawn Lynch. Thomas Rawls looked pretty good. This year, Jesus Christ, aside from maybe one or two big games from Christine Michael, there's been not really anything. You had CJ Prosise for a little bit, who offered a different dynamic out of the backfield, but since he's been gone, Alex Collins, Thomas Rawls, they've just been struggling. Whereas the other side of the lines, even though they lost to the Packers, they still have been able to stay in games. Matt Stafford has been balling out. I think he's going to be definitely up to the challenge of the Seattle Seahawks secondary, which will always be the strength. Bobby Wagner on the Seattle Seahawks has been incredible. But for me, I think a big thing is Detroit needs Theoretic back to keep Bobby Wagner honest. Right now, Bobby Wagner, you can see, I think he had 2 sacks last week. If he knows that there's no threat out of the backfield, because that's usually his man, he's going to be stopping, he's a pass-catching back. He's going to be blitzing Matt Stafford like a motherfucker. So if you have Theoretic back there, a guy that's maybe debatably the best pass-catching back, pure pass-catching back, whereas a guy like David Johnson does it all and Le'Veon Bell does it all. In the NFL, that guy there will keep those linebackers honest. They'll keep them constantly second-guessing themselves. Should I blitz? If I blitz, will they have an absolute open middle of the field for Theoretic to gash them? I think they need Riddick. They got Zenner, who's been a late-season stud for the Detroit Lions as of late, but I think they need Riddick back. And I don't know. I think he has a wrist injury. Hopefully, I don't know if there's any diagnostics. Is that a proper term? If he's going to be back in a prognosticist. I don't know if he's going to be back, okay? Whatever fancy words you want to say. I just woke up in the motherfucking morning. My prediction on this game, though, is Detroit Lions upset. And now, realistically, if the safe bet will be taking Seattle at home, but I don't want to make this video all obvious picks, and I truly believe that of all these games, I think the only upset will be the Detroit Lions. They've been, just imagine. It's written in the stone. This game will be, back and forth, an absolute just bar fight. Detroit Lions down 6 in the fourth quarter. Matt Stafford, most fourth quarter comebacks in a single season in NFL history. Leads his team down, hits, fucking Golden Tate or something like that. Golden Tate in his return game back to Seattle. Fucking gets the game-winning touchdown in a very close match. I think Seattle was very, very lucky last year against the Minnesota Vikings to win in that absolute shit show of a game. I just think this is just the way, the NFL's way of punishing the Seattle Seahawks for being able to just spend money everywhere and just completely ignore the offensive line. And it's about to catch up to them. I think the Detroit Lions defensive line is definitely no pushover. They got Ziggy Ansah, Ashawn Robinson, Kerry Hyder, guys like that can play. Definitely not the best front seven that Seattle Seahawks would have to go against. And I still think a team like Seattle might pose a bigger, just from their strengths, a better team to beat Dallas for my sake. But I think Detroit will win this game in a potential upset, and I definitely can see it being written in the stars that it'll be another fourth quarter comeback for Matt Stafford. Now moving on to the Sunday games, we have Miami versus Pittsburgh to open it up. Big Ben at home has been absolutely lights out all season. He's going to be nice and rested. I've had Big Ben on my fantasy football teams, and it seems like when he's on home, that 3 touchdowns minimum is what he's going to do, especially against the Miami Dolphins that are kind of limping in here after getting just absolutely smacked by the New England Patriots Week 17. I think Pittsburgh right now is the only team that can challenge New England, so I'm putting all my chips on black and yellow. For the Miami Dolphins, they got Matt Moore. I mean, you're right now you're expecting Matt Moore to keep up with Big Ben, Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell. They have a good offense. Even the fucking secondary receivers are solid. Kobe Hamilton, Eli Rogers. I just can't see Matt Moore in any way, shape, or form being able to keep up. I think he had a big game against the Jets, was it? Like 3 touchdowns or something like that in prime time. That's the Jets. That's a team that maybe defensively could be comparable in terms of star talent with the Pittsburgh Steelers, maybe even a little bit better, but they've been playing like shit, and Darrelle Revis is a shell of his former self. But the difference is because the Jets can't put up any points. That game was just, the Jets defense getting exhausted because their offense was going 3-and-out, 3-and-out, 3-and-out. You are going to have to score at least 21 points to stay in this game with Pittsburgh, and I can't see Matt Moore doing that. The only way they can is if Jay Ajayi has a damn near historic day. You saw last week, I didn't think the Steelers sat very many guys on the defensive side of the ball, and Isaiah Crowell had a monster day. I think he had like 150 yards for the Cleveland Browns, and Jay Ajayi has been a big-time runner, and I say that as in he's had a couple, he's pretty streaky. He'll have some weeks where he'll have, 40, 50 yards, but then he'll have weeks where he gets 220 yards, something crazy like that. So they're going to need Jay Ajayi to have like a goddamn Terrell Davis-like playoff game for them to stand any form of chance. My prediction for this game is Steelers by at least 14. I think this might be the least competitive game out of all of them, unfortunately for my buddy that's a diehard Fins fan. And I don't hate Miami. Honestly, like if I'm listing the teams that I hope could go to the Super Bowl, Miami's probably pretty goddamn high up that list. It's just a bad matchup, and Steelers are going to... Like, Miami would have had a chance if they're playing Oakland or Houston. They just got the shitty luck of the draw and have to play Pittsburgh. So Steelers win that one. And then the final game on Sunday night, the New York Giants versus the Green Bay Packers. That is going to be, as much as I hate the Giants, that will be probably the best game of the weekend. Actually, you know what? Fuck that. I think that'll be the second best. I think Detroit-Seattle will be a little bit better, just in terms of, I just think it'll be closer. But this game here, is there a better team right now, in-form team, than the Green Bay Packers? Offense and defense are both playing the best football of the entire season as such. Aaron Rodgers is playing like an MVP candidate, and the wide receivers are lethal. Jordy Nelson's probably comeback player of the year. He has like 14 touchdowns. Devontae Adams has had big games. You got Randall Cobb, who's struggling with some injuries, but he'll probably try to get back for this playoff game, so they'd be rolling, all out for that. You got Ty Montgomery, the running back, wide receiver hybrid. He's definitely a weapon out of the backfield. I mean, who needs a run game when your wide receivers are this good? I think this is going to be a great battle, though, between the Green Bay offensive line that's graded out incredibly well by Pro Football Focus and the New York Giants defensive line, which is, incredibly expensive. They've paid a lot of money to make that defensive line good, and they have been. Vernon's been solid. Snacks has been very good. JPP, I don't know if he'll be ready. I remember he had a pretty bad injury about 3 or 4 weeks ago. So hopefully for Giants' sake, JPP will be back, but that is going to be an absolute war between those two units. Beavis and Butthead. Anyway, Eli Manning has actually been shit down the stretch, but we all know Eli Manning in the playoffs you could have Eli Manning have the worst, statistical season of his career, and his team somehow limps into the playoffs. He's like the team with the Giants. If you're a Giants fan, he's just get to the playoffs and let Eli do work. It's like Eli Manning. Ben Roethlisberger and I'd say Joe Flacco at this point are teams that, obviously there's playoff performers like Tom Brady and stuff, but their teams are never really that bad. But Ben Roethlisberger's had a couple bad Steelers teams that he's been able to carry, get them to the playoffs. He's a playoff performer. Joe Flacco, same thing with the Ravens, and Eli Manning. So it is playoff Eli. But at Lambeau, that is up there with Seattle for the worst fucking field to go to, worst environment to go to, especially in the playoffs. This game's gonna be cold as shit, and it's probably gonna be rocking. I think they already said on the broadcast to end the Lions and Packers game last week that it's gonna be very, very fucking cold in Green Bay next week. I think the biggest thing will be I don't think Odell will be able to handle the pressure. I think it's his first playoff game. I just think, like, if I'm the Green Bay Packers, I'm getting into his fucking head, and then if things don't start going his way, especially because Eli Manning hasn't been amazing, and by amazing, I mean he's looked average the last couple weeks down the stretch. He looked like shit. What was that, 3 fucking picks against the Eagles, and he didn't do shit last week against the Redskins. Luckily, they're able to, kind of limp across the finish line thanks to Paul Perkins, but he has not looked good. So I think if Odell, things aren't going his way in the first half, in the second half you have a guy like Clinton Dix, or fucking, I don't even know. Even have Clay Matthews. Clay Matthews, he's been in commercials. He's probably charismatic enough to just attack Odell's character. I think he'll get off his game and struggle immensely in this game. I don't actually think Eli will have a good game, but I think Odell will be the guy that struggles. I think you'll probably see a lot more Victor Cruz, Sterling Shepard. I'm going to put money that Sterling Shepard will have more receiving yards than Odell in this game. This game here also shows who the fuck needs a run game. Probably the 2 worst running teams in the league. Giants straight up haven't had a running back since goddamn Ahmad Bradshaw. In Green Bay, they don't even have a running back right now. So, I mean, fuck having running backs. Maybe that's what you don't need. Maybe that's why the Cardinals didn't make the playoffs. You have David Johnson, incredible player. But, I mean, who needs fucking running backs anymore, I suppose. My prediction for this game is Packers win a very close one. Like I said, this team, I'm almost like, I don't know if I want to pull for the Giants because it's who can beat Dallas. That's pretty much where I'm going for in the NFC. Who can beat Dallas? I think Detroit and Seattle. I think Detroit wins, but I think Seattle has a better chance to beat Dallas. New York, Green Bay. New York's 2-0 against Dallas. New York probably has a better chance to beat Dallas. But I think I'm going to have to go with Green Bay. And I just think Aaron Rodgers, too in form right now. He's fucking on fire. He's boom shakalaka in NBA Jam right now. And Eli Manning hasn't been good down the stretch. I don't think even a slight bump in playoff form, Eli will be able to get it done in Lambeau. So there are my predictions. We got Houston, Detroit, Pittsburgh, and New York Giants losing to the Green Bay Packers for my predictions. Let me know in the comment section below, guys, what you guys think for these upcoming games. Playoff football is here. Unfortunately, the Eagles aren't there, but I can take this and watch it with an unbiased mind as best as I can and keep you guys informed with my opinion. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think about these games in the comment section below. Smash the like button if Smash the like button. Well, let's go for the cheap pop. Smash the like button. You think Odell Beckham Jr. is going to crumble under the pressure. It's going to be magnificent. And if, I don't know, if you're a Giant fan, smash the like button if you think Eli's going to have a good game. I don't fucking know. But that is it for me here today, guys. Thank you for watching. And until next time, it's your boy C4 saying peace out.